Happy Monday, guys. No, wait a minute. Today's Tuesday. That's right. I'm the jerk today. I knocked my schedule all out of whack and everything's a day behind this week, so please forgive me. This week I want to talk about the homeless. This week I want to talk about the homeless. Specifically today, homeless veterans, but in general, homeless. I mean, nobody deserves to be without a home, without food, some kind of shelter. And, you know, it tears me apart when I see the destitution and the mental illness and PTSD, which is classified in there too. All these issues that create homeless situations. Now, I will say, and I've been a cynic for years, but I will say there are people who choose to live the way they live. And for some, that means living in a tent city, and that's what they want to do. Not most of them. And I want to say that very clearly. This is not the majority. That's just a few. But for the majority, there are circumstances, whether they were self-created, created by mental illness, addiction, sometimes just crappy circumstances, they end up fighting hunger and homelessness. Today I had a gentleman approach me at my store, and he said he was a homeless veteran. He was just looking for work. He had a gas station squeegee, the sponge squeegee combination on the short handle, and a bottle of Windex. I'm not so sure he didn't swipe him from the gas station, but that's another topic. While I can't condone stealing, I do understand what it's like to try to claw your way into some kind of work somehow. And I get it, I understand it. But anyway, he came in very polite, as well dressed as he could be. He was homeless. He is finding a place to bathe, and he does have a few changes of clothes. And I could tell that by the way he was carrying himself. I could also tell that he's been struggling. Now, his gig today was he wanted to wash windows, and he was hitting up businesses all around town in Berlin here. A lot of people didn't take him up on his offer, and I get it. You don't know the guy. He kind of comes out of nowhere. Also, there's people that do this business for the people in Berlin and West Ocean City and Ocean City on a weekly basis anyway. I had somebody for the first year my shop was open, every 10 days or so, they came and washed the outside of my windows on the storefront. I didn't even have to be here. And then an invoice would be in my mailbox, yada, yada. Well, if people have a service already set up, they're not ready to take on somebody else, regardless of what their circumstances, and I get that. And like I said, not knowing the person, that makes it a little difficult, especially for some of the women in town. You don't want to put yourself in a bad situation. I'm not saying you should be stupid about it, but if there's any way that you can find a way to help some of these guys and families and women and children, then please, let's try to pull together and do that. There are many organizations, Habitat for Humanity, as far as people that aren't homeless, but just never quite seem to get any traction and are looking to be homeowners and actually invest in something bigger than they've ever dreamed of, owning a home in a small piece of property. You could donate time, you could donate money, any kind of resources. Diakonia, which down here is a local charity that helps families and people in transition with food, temporary shelter. They also help them get hooked up with other resources that can help them to continue to get better, whether it's mental health, addiction, things like that. So there is that. You can donate money, time. We have our the Bearded Men's Society of Ocean City. We have charity events. It's 3 or 4 times a year for Diakonia. You can come help support them through us. The Christian Men's Shelter over in Salisbury, Halo Enterprises over in Salisbury, and this is all local stuff that I'm mentioning, but there's stuff in every town in this country. I guarantee it, or at least every county in this country. There are resources to help people that are in transition or, fighting whatever demons they're fighting. Today's Don't Be a Jerk, I'm trying to be a little more gentle. Don't just turn a blind eye. I'm not saying you should reach into your pocket and pull out cash. I've seen people get mugged that way. You don't necessarily want to invite every person you meet into your home. Some people can do that. They're set up to be able to do that. And some people are a little more trusting in that way. And some people can't be. Some people can't afford to be. So they need to keep everything at kind of arm's length. For me, I'm a full-grown adult male who can handle himself. For me, in my place of business, I can handle this. At my home, it may be a different story. I have kids of all ages, just circumstances which may not be suitable for inviting somebody directly into my home until I get to know them. If I know this person, then yeah, maybe there is a chance later on. But this guy, I let him wash my windows. I gave him a little bit of money. I gave him some Walmart white bar towels to help, wipe up the drips that collect on the bottom of the windowsill after you've squeegeed, things like that. I said, look, if you want a weekly gig, come back every week and I'll pay you to do the windows. And hopefully somebody else will pick him up around town too. It's not much, but it's something. Maybe a couple bucks will help him get food for a day or two. And, that's all you can do. You try to do your best to help. Moral support, financial support, anything you can do. If you get a chance, and I'm not saying just throw change in a cup, well, and that's another situation. I've been around the city before too. I grew up working around Philadelphia, and there are people that truly need the money that they're trying to collect when they wash your windshield or smear dirt on your windshield or sell roses or whatever they're selling. At least they're trying to sell something. They're not just sitting there with a cup trying to collect money. We have people around here in Salisbury that is their profession. It's not because they need a hand up. They've made a career of panhandling, basically. And some of these guys drive a nicer car than I do and live in better circumstances than I do. And I know of at least two. And I have proof. I'm not just throwing that out there, as a unfounded statement. I know this for a fact that there are at least two guys that do this professionally over there, and possibly a couple women too that work as a team and they rotate spots. If that's what they want to try to do for a career, more power to them, but they're not getting any money out of me. I have way more respect for the guy that will come to me and say that he wants to work. Whether he has skills or not, everybody can learn something. And I don't mind helping out where I can. And I'm hoping that you guys will help where you can too. If you need any suggestions for organizations that you can either donate time or money to, or sometimes it's just, canned goods, dry goods like paper towels, sanitary stuff for the women, hygiene stuff, we donate. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. Don't get me wrong. That's not the purpose of this video. It's really just to try to make people aware that this problem exists everywhere. This is not just in New York City, Philly, DC, Baltimore, the big city areas. Yeah, you might see it a little more often there, but trust me, in some of the best or around some of the best suburban neighborhoods in America, there are homeless people. It could be veterans, it could be people who lost in the market, people who have mental health issues that just progressed over the years and they were not able to hold it together. There's all kinds of things. So before you judge people, and some of them are going to be jerks. There's no way around it. The law of averages says that out of a certain population, there's going to be a certain percentage of people that are just assholes, and there's nothing you can do about that. That goes for people with money, people with no money, people with big homes, people with no homes. So you try to look past that a little bit and see if you can find it in your heart to do something. I'm not saying you have to take on a whole crusade and make that your entire life's goal, but something. And sometimes it just takes, a friendly chat, a smile, and a handshake. If that's all you got and that's all you can do, that's better than nothing. Sometimes encouragement helps a lot too. I know this was kind of dragged out and I don't usually have anything witty to say anyway, but whatever. Step outside your box, do something to help somebody, even if it's through somebody else, so you don't have to have direct contact if that scares you right now. Fear of the unknown is totally normal, so please find some way to help somehow. I appreciate it, guys. And if you're not going to help or you can't help, do me a favor. Don't be a jerk about it. Don't put these people down when you don't know their situation and you've never lived in their shoes. See y'all tomorrow.